Alright, Rose, I wanted to make you a quick video just sort of highlighting some stuff that we worked on Sunday, and this is what we'll continue to focus on. One of the changes I want to continue to make to your swing as you get stronger and you're able to support the club a little more with your upper body. If you'll take a look at the swing here on the left first, just kind of want you to take a look at your backswing here. I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. A lot of really good pieces here. If you remember, we talked a little bit about how your club is across the line at the top. I'm going to stop it right here at the top of your backswing. So, the target line, just for your reference, I'm going to draw a red line here on the ground. Let's just say, that's your stance line there. And you can clearly see that at the top we've got this club pointing way across the line at the top, and that's what I mean when I say across the line. The problem with this is where basically the butt of your club points at the top of the golf swing is the initial direction that the hand path will move in when the club starts down. Okay, and for you that means that your club is going to start down by dropping really far to the inside. And when that happens, we have a tendency to swing the club on a path that's way too far to the right. And that's when we get those big hooks. Okay, so I'm going to remove all these lines from here. And we worked a little bit on this the other day, but basically the culprit and the reason why you're getting across the line at the top is because of your right elbow position here. You can see how far your elbow has kind of moved away from your rib cage or away from your body here. The further that right arm moves away from your ribs, the longer your backswing can become, and the more across the line you will get. Now, we worked on that a little bit here on the right, and I'm going to play this one for you. And this was much better. Not quite where we want it to be yet, but we're definitely moving in the right direction. Beautiful leg action there as your right leg straightens and your left leg flexes. Alright, so here you are at the top. Now, you'll notice the elbow position. It's much closer to the body. Okay, we're going to continue to work on that, continue to progress on that. But basically, we want to get in a position to where the shaft of this club at the top of your backswing with your wrists fully hinged points somewhere slightly to the left of the target. And the reason for that is on the downswing your hand path will move more diagonally like this toward the ball, and that will create a club path that moves more in line or just slightly out to the target. And what that's going to mean is that your ball is going to have a lot less curve on it. Right now we're having a hard time controlling the curve because we're a little bit across the line at the top, and we're a little bit across the line at the top because you lift your arms off of your body at the top of your backswing. To give you a little more idea of what I'm talking about, Rose, here's a video of Inbee Park, and I understand she's not swinging a driver, but you can get the idea of kind of what we want the shaft to do at the top of the backswing. Notice how as she puts the club into motion, right arm stays really close to the body, and look where the shaft is pointing at the top of the backswing. Let me back it up. So I would say right there is about the top of her backswing. Notice the right elbow position, and notice how close the inner part of her arm is to her rib cage there. That's where we're going to go with your swing. Okay, Rose, here's the last thing I want to point out to you here, and we talked a little bit about this as well on Sunday. But basically, you were making a backswing to where all of the weight and the pressure was moving this way toward the target throughout the course of the backswing when your club started to move away from the ball. And you'll see I've drawn this little yellow line going straight down right off the left side of your head there. And I'm just putting that up there as a reference point so you can see that at address your head is somewhat behind that line. And what I tried to describe for you was when you make a backswing, I want you to feel the weight and pressure moving from in the center of your feet basically into the instep of the right foot. So what that would mean is that we would have just an ever so slight shift of pressure away from the target. And if you do that correctly, I should see your head stay slightly behind that line, that vertical line that I've drawn there. But as the club moves away, notice how your head and your upper torso is tilting toward the target. So when you get to the top of your backswing, which is about right here, your head is no longer behind the line. You've put all this weight and pressure over here on the left side. Okay? Now the problem with that is when you start down to swing the club, the only option you have in order to hit the ball up in the air is to tilt back for your head to actually move in this direction, which is not what we want. We want everything moving toward the target, hips, everything moving toward the target on the downswing. And just kind of pay attention here to your head as we start down. So now it has to kind of back up. You see it move back really abruptly there. So now it's way behind it again. So it started out in front of it and then it had to move behind it. So that tilting back, what that does is causes where your club hit the ground, the low point to change dramatically. So the more your head's moving in this direction, the more the low point of the swing arc is bottoming out somewhere behind the golf ball in this area. Okay? And that's going to be one of the other reasons why you're hitting the ball a little bit low. If you look at the player I have here on the right, I know this is a guy, but he's going to make the illustration or the point that I'm trying to make. You'll notice he's set up kind of behind that line, and as he starts to move the club away, you can clearly see the weight and pressures moving into the ground right here through his instep of his foot. His head stays behind that line, and he's reached the top of his backswing. Now when he starts down, his head will pretty much remain stable, but his knees and his hips, his belt buckle will push toward the target as he hits the shot. So you can see his head moves back a little bit, but it moves back to about where it was, at address, and he's clearly behind it throughout most of the swing. Alright, hope this makes sense to you. I'm going to play your swing all the way through for you really quick here, just so you can kind of take a look at the motion. You've made some really nice improvements. I just want to continue to work on these pieces, and I know your ball striking will improve. But your swing has become very much more athletic. Nice job.